under 20 cricket tournament. Later on the show, we're going to have an interview with the Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Enugu State, Lloyd Ekweremadu. More of this in the news. I am Bankky All. 3 players were sent off as World Cup caused. Mexico defeated South Africa 2 goals to 0 in a dramatic opening match at the packed Azteca Stadium. South Africa finished with 9 men, while Mexico were reduced to 10 in the closing moments. Brazilian referee Wilson Sampaio produced a flurry of red cards, dismissing South Africa's Yaya Sitole for denying a goal-scoring opportunity and Temba Zwane for a slap, then sending off Mexico's Cesar Montes for a late foul. Mexico delighted their fans with the first goal of the finals after only 9 minutes after South African defender midfielder Sitole was tackled by Eric Lira and the ball dropped to Julian Quinones, whose powerful strike went through the legs of goalkeeper Rowan Williams. Quinones also almost made it 2 goals to 0 just before halftime, but his 12-yard forced time short bounced off the foot of the right post. Wolf striker Raul Jimenez with 35 set the victory with his goal at a World Cup, heading in powerfully from Roberto Alvarado's cross for Mexico's second, a moment that appeared to draw tears from the veteran. South Korea came from behind to defeat Czech Republic 2 goals to 1 as substitute Oh Yo-goan scored the winning goal in the 80th minute of their World Cup opener. Son Heung-min and company had dominated the game against the Czech, who did not have a shot on target until their captain Ladislav Krajic's rose to head home a long throw from Vladimir Kufa for the opening goal in the 59th minute. Fellow defensive midfielder Ian Im-bom, however, inspired South Korea's fight back when equalized only 8 minutes after Czech opener. Found inside the box by the lively Lika in, Wang deceived Matetkova, who had rushed off his line with a quick shot before scooping the ball over the Czech goalkeeper and into an unguarded goal to make it 1-1. South Korea thought they had been undone by another set piece from Chezia in the 70th minute as Thomas Susek nodded home a free kick from the left, but Ong Byung-bo's side were handed a reprieve as the goal was ruled out for offside. The supporters at the Estadio Guadalajara were soon celebrating as their side took the lead with Besiktas forward or tapping home a cross from Wang to complete the turnaround. Nigeria's football legend Austin J.J. Okocha has been honored with the FIFA World Cup Superior Player of the Match Winner Award for his outstanding performance in Nigeria's memorable victory over Spain at the 1998 FIFA World Cup. Okocha played a pivotal role as the Super Eagles stunned one of the tournament favourites 3 goals to 2 in the opening Group D encounter in France. His dazzling skills, creativity, and leadership in midfield were instrumental in helping Nigeria secure one of the most famous victories in the nation's football history. The recognition from FIFA celebrates the coach's exceptional display in a match that remains one of Nigeria's greatest moments on the global stage. The former Super Eagles captain was at the heart of Nigeria's impressive comeback after Spain had taken the lead, with the African giant eventually claiming all 3 points through goals from Mutiu Adepoju, an own goal from Andoni Zubizarreta, and a famous long-range winner from Sunday Olise. Super Eagles maintained their 26th position in the latest FIFA Men's World Ranking released yesterday by the World Football Governing Body FIFA. The three-time African champions remained unchanged in the global standings, despite a series of mixed results during the ranking period. Nigeria recorded notable victories over Zimbabwe and Jamaica, defeating the Warriors 2 goals to 0 before securing a 3-0 win against the Reggae Boys of Jamaica to defend their Unity Cup title in England successfully. The Super Eagles also featured in 2 international friendlies in June. They began the month with a 2-2 draw against Poland in Warsaw before suffering a 2-1 defeat to Portugal in Lisbon on Wednesday. And back home, the semi-final lineup for the 2026 President Federation Cup has been confirmed. following an exciting round of quarter-final matches played across the country. Defending champions Academy Warriors secured a narrow 1-0 victory over Sokoto United to book their place in the last four, while Wiki Tourist overcame Flight FC in a dramatic penalty shootout after both sides settled for a 1-1 draw. In regulation time, Wiki Tourist eventually triumphed 4-3 on penalties. For Nasser United, they progressed to the semi-finals after edging Plateau United 2 goals to 1 in a closely contested encounter. In another thrilling fixture, Ikorodu City battled to a 2-2 draw against Barrow FC before emerging victorious 5 goals to 4 in a penalty shootout to secure their place among the final four teams. The result means Academy Warriors, Wiki Tourist, Nasser United, and Ikorodu City will compete in the semi-finals as the race for this year's President Federation Cup title intensifies. In Europe, Bernardo Silva to Real Madrid is set as an agreement is in place and contract approved for him to join the Whites. 2-year deal plus 1-year option after conversation about the deal by Madrid started 48 hours ago and closed immediately. Mourinho wanted Bernardo. He says yes, and advanced talks reviewed and 100% confirmed. It will become Jose Mourinho's fourth signing of his second stint at Real Madrid. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid were also interested in Bernardo Silva. And to other sports, the female Yellow Greens recorded their first victory at the Kurubuka T20 Tournament 2026 with a commanding 5-2 run win over Malawi women in an impressive all-round performance. Nigeria's women cricket team produced a determined display with both bat and ball to secure the emphatic victory. Jessica Biani anchored the innings with an unbeaten 25 runs, helping the female Yellow Greens post a competitive total against the East African opponents. In response, Malawi women struggled to cope with Nigeria's disciplined bowling attack and were eventually bowled out for just 46 runs. That's all we have in the news. Talking point next. Alright, welcome back. This is Urban Sports on 94.5 Urban Radio Enugu. This morning we have the grace to host the Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Enugu State, Lloyd Ekweremadu Jr. on our show this morning. Good morning to you, Commissioner.
Good morning, Bankky.
Okay.
Good morning, Enugu.
All right. Quite pick that. Okay. I think we should do that again. All right. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Bankky.
Yes, thank you.
And good morning, Enugu.
All right. Yeah, so let's go straight to the point because of the 1-4 time. All right. How do I even start this? 2 titles for Rangers in 3 years, and also being able to successfully bid for the National Sport Festival, which is going to hold between the 27th of November to December 10. If I'm right, which of the 2 events would you say is your favorite or your most successful achievement?
Well, it's difficult to say really. The 2 MPFL trophies in 3 years is unprecedented. It's not something that's been done by state administration, certainly not for a state-owned team like Rangers. Hasn't been done in really a long time. So it's record-setting. It's groundbreaking, and we're very, humbled by that, and proud of it at the same time. So, but then hosting the National Sports Festival is something else that will make history. The first southeastern state to host it since Imo 1998.
Okay.
So will be only the second southeastern state to host it after such a long time. So I suppose maybe this question can come after we've done it,
Okay.
and then we can compare. And, we can say which one feels better.
You understand because beating successfully is something big, and I
Sure.
know that in the space of 3 years you've hosted a lot of tournament in Enugu State, and you've traveled for some, and there's always been there's a medal rush under your administration, unlike the past one in the last 3 years. I think the last one that you went for was he the I think you hosted Nigeria Professional Football League Southeast junior football teams also,
Yes.
and it was successful. Then there's the one that you went for, I think in Bayelsa, which you guys dominated.
Yes. I believe that was it the boxing?
Yes,
Yes. Of
yes.
course.
The National Para Games at the Moshood Abiola Stadium also, the
Exactly.
recent one.
Amazing. Again, making history. Um, it was just it was just an unbelievable outing. 55 medals,
40 gold
40
medals.
gold medals,
Yeah.
8 silver, 7 bronze. It was just great. And this is the first time a southeastern state is winning a major national multi-sport competition. So you have the National Sports Festival, which is like our Olympics,
Yeah.
and then the National Para Games, which is like our Paralympics, and then you have the National Youth Games. Those are the major national sports competitions in the country. Um, and then now they've added the intermediate games anyway, so the first one will be holding later this year. So this is the first time the Southeastern State is winning one of those major competitions, and we're very proud to have done it in such a resounding way.
How were you able to do it? Because your administration now, 3 years, and what you've achieved so far, unmatched, you know, based on the stats that we see, and maybe something you're also going to tell us. How are you able to do it? Because it kind of dwarf the other administration. And at some point, it made us feel like nothing is working when it comes to sports. We're not even going to talk about football yet, because, of course, we know that's a culture. It made us feel like there's nothing happening in other ministries in the state. And this you're able to do under 3 years. So, Enugu had this number of talents.
I mean, so you have to look at it this way. We're not, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is not existing in in a vacuum. We are part of this administration of Governor Peter Ndubisimba.
Okay.
So the excellence that you see across sectors is just what's being replicated in the sports sector and youth development space. Um, we we're just beneficiaries of the visionary leadership of Governor Peter Ndubisimba, and his demand for absolutely nothing else except excellence. So you can't be part of such an administration. I mean, if you look around, there's no area, there's no sector where the state is not outperforming what was on ground before this administration came on board, and almost outperforming most other states across the country. So sports cannot be left behind, and the governor has a vision, and it's long term. So what you're seeing is just the governor will tell you ain't saying nothing yet,
Yeah, okay.
and that's just because we're just laying the groundwork for an economy where sports, begins to contribute as a major player into the GDP of the state. And that's really the vision that the governor has. It becomes an industry that becomes thriving, not just viable in Enugu State. So we're just laying the groundwork for all of that, and it will come to fruition very, very soon. So yeah, the point is that, and to answer your question generally, is that we couldn't have been doing it without the support, without the leadership, without the vision of the governor. Um, it makes everything we really need within reason available to
Okay.
be able to pursue all of this.
So, what key projects have had the greatest impact on the young people, the youth? Because it's youth and sports. What key project?
I think um, we've done quite a number of things as far as youth development is concerned, as far as the youth are concerned. But it goes beyond the Ministry of Youth and Sports. Things are done across um, all the various MDAs. You know, you can talk about. I mean, we can start with us ourselves. We've done quite a number of things. Last year, we were able to train about, in total, 2,000 young people in various vocational skills, free of charge. And then out of those 2,000, 1,020 were empowered with startup material, startup kits for the various businesses. Um, we've done in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture. We've
Okay.
trained about 700 young people in modern agricultural skill, integrated farming systems, greenhouse farming, um, and other things like that. Both here in Enugu and outside Enugu, we've conducted those trainings. Um, and the idea is that they will begin to leverage and benefit from the um, farm estates, the smart farm estates that are beginning to come up across the state. Um, in terms of the digital economy, we've trained about 500 people. This was in our first year at in ICE, Artificial Intelligence Career Center. We've done youth in animation and post-production initiative. That one is still ongoing. We've graduated a cohort of 300, and then the second cohort is currently there. Training labs at IMT. We took out the space at IMT where this is currently going on. So we've been doing quite a lot. But then, like I said, if you go into other sectors,
Okay.
from
Yeah.
transport and the jobs it's creating, from through Enugu Air, through the bus terminals, through the buses themselves, and you can talk about the tractor assembly plants that have been introduced, that have been brought in or attracted, creating numerous jobs, both in assembling tractors itself, but also in terms of tractor operators
That with Notre?
with no track.
Okay.
Exactly. Um, we can talk about the construction of the smart schools and the jobs that it's provided for young people in construction space. But then we can also talk about the young people that are benefiting from the smart schools coming into play. So we can go on and on about how this government have benefited young people.
I know it will be flattering if I say that you've not passed through a lot in the last 3 years. So I'm looking at how have you been able to do it, the challenges that you faced, because it looks like we move from, I don't want to say from 0 to 100, that if it's 100 yet with you, but let's say from 0 to 70, how were you able to do it, the challenges you faced, and how you were able to overcome them?
I mean, yeah, you rightly point out there are always challenges. It's not always going to be smooth sailing. Um, you see, the thing is, some of these achievements that we've been able to record under the leadership of His Excellency Governor Pitamba are just the things that we were actually able to do. There's so many other things we had also wanted to do. We want to do more, but not all of them were able to, come to light. So that's one of the challenges, but that tells you how far the governor has gone, or how far he has gone in comparison to what we had on ground. Being that with the achievements we've had in this space over the last 3 years, it's just a fraction of what we had intended to do, really. So those are some of the challenges. Is that you have this, a catalog of things you want to do at the beginning of the year. You have to submit your broad strategic objectives to the governor and review them, and then you set out the plan for the year. But then, we don't always have the funding. We go into discussions with private sector players, potential partners, and not all of them, materialize. Um, so those are some of the challenges we've had, but by and large, I think we've done all right.
All right, let's look at continuity because some of these projects, those completed or those that have been successful, there are some that it might be a annual or biennial, depends on the time frame. Let's look at continuity for some of these projects. I'm going to highlight one. The half marathon, was it not supposed to be an annual event? And what happened to it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be an annual event. It's still an annual event. You recall we hosted the half marathon in 2024.
Yes.
So then in 2025, we decided to scale it up. And in 2025, we did a full marathon, and it was an international marathon, right? Where you had foreign runners, foreign athletes participate, and then runners from all across the country, of course, participate, and then quite a huge number. I mean, we have the culture of running here in Enugu, so there was huge participation. So this year's edition, the 2026, is coming up in August 29th to be precise, is the date for the 2026 Enugu City International Marathon. So it remains an annual event.
And others.
Sorry?
Yeah, I talked about continuity of some of your projects because it's
Right.
3 years. I don't know how long you're going to be
Okay.
in that office.
Yeah, so the other things, look, one of them that is also very dear to the heart of the governor is school sports. That's his strategy. That's the strategy of his government for reviving grassroots sports. It's through school sports. So we invested, and this is one of those things where I say it's a promise made and a promise kept, because this is a key feature of His Excellency's manifesto when he was campaigning in 2022, 2023. And it was that school sports will be revived. So for 3 years running now, we've held school sports competition, so inter-school sports competition. And the good thing is, every year, the number of schools that participate have increased. And so we did 2024, we did 2025, and we've done 2026 just in March. And this time we had about 196 schools that participated across the state. So it was huge. So and there are a few other things, of course, but in terms of talking about sustainability, which I think is your question, our idea is that we make these things part of the culture, institute a level of irreversibility to some extent, because now that we've brought these school sports back, even up to universities, we held our intercampus athletics championship in February as well. So you put it such that at some point, let's say someone else comes and takes over as commissioner or as governor. When that person resumes office, you'll be presented with the blueprint. Exactly. This is what we've been doing. And we would have done it enough times. So that's why it's incumbent on us to, be consistent, at least for the time that we're here. We would have done it enough times that if you just resume, Bankky as commissioner, and that year there's no school sports, they will come and protest at Ministry of Youth and Sports and ask you why there's no school sports this year.
Because we remember roadblock in the past in entertainment.
Right. And people noticed when that was no longer there, and which is why this government has gone on to bring it back. So you do something long enough, it becomes part of the social fabric, then, you cannot really get rid of it. Some of the things we've tried to legislate on, as you know, we one of the first things we did was to pass the Enugu State Sports Development Fund Law and the Enugu State Youth Development Fund Law. So those things are there. So there is a legal framework for
For it to
for it to be sustained. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm sure that if I don't touch on this particular question, it's not going to, a lot of callers will be waiting for you to answer to your best of knowledge. Rangers have just won the MPFL title,
So,
second time in 3 seasons.
yes, sir.
We are going to talk about the aspect of preparing for the CAF Champions League, the stadium. Before then, the governor celebrated them with 100 million naira to the footballers, to the the coaching staff. I think 50 million naira. Then landed property, which we don't know. It could be anywhere. We are not sure of that. But 100 million naira. Fans are complaining that it's too small because I think we have 40 registered players for Rangers and 10 unregistered. How do 50 people share 100 million in this economy? We're expecting that they get way more than that because of what they were able to do.
Okay. Well, the what I will say, I'll just repeat the words of the governor on that night. He said, "There's nothing we can do, that would be enough to appreciate and to, um, you know, commemorate the huge feat that these young men and women, talking about both the players and management,
Yeah.
have been able to achieve. So I don't think there's any amount of money. I don't know how to go about determining
There can be more money.
a figure. No, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I don't know how to go about determining the exact amount that should be given, right? But more importantly is for me, and anyone who's really looking at it critically, is the landed assets aspect of things. Just yesterday, they were all issued with their
CFO.
exactly
Okay.
with their allocation certificates, and those lands, as we speak, just off the ground, are worth nothing less than 40 million.
Location of the land.
They're right by the new Enugu, so just literally part of the new city, I believe. Um, so it's prime location, prime investment property for these young people, which almost guarantees that they don't leave the city, because then they'll have to stay back, or at least something will always bring them back to Enugu. So the lands have already been have been allocated to them, and for me that holds more value than even if the land was in my village, it will hold more value than whatever the cash is about.
Cash is important.
I mean, think of it though. How much does the winning team, what you get for winning the MPFL is 200 million. So it's not really about the money. It's about the pride. It's about the love, and the legacy that's being built. So I think His Excellency has done tremendously well with um, rewarding them in the way that he has.
All right, we can have the phone lines open right now. 0916005945, 0916004945. Yes, we've been with the Commissioner for Youth and Sport in Enugu State, Lloyd Ekweremadu, and of course he's told us about a lot of those we know, and is making it aware towards these brilliant things that they've been able to achieve in Enugu State. How do we execute the CAF Champions League? Will this stadium be sanctioned or be endorsed by CAF? Because the last one that we were part of, I'm sure that you were disappointed with the performance of the boys. The fact that they couldn't play at the Cathedral also played a pivotal role in the downfall because they couldn't get into the money spinning stage, which I'm sure that money is very, important. How do we execute the CAF Champions League?
Okay, so the last time where we had the opportunity playing at the CAF Champions League, playing on the continent, I suppose we were just not prepared in terms of infrastructure, right? We had the CAF officials come here, inspect the stadium, and it wasn't approved for CAF matches. I mean, while they were here in Nigeria, they visited most other stadiums, and really, you just had one stadium, which was Uyo, on this side of the country, and then one in Remo,
Ramos.
which were approved, right? Um, so it's a national issue. But what that experience gave us was that we now know what is required. Because before that, we didn't really know what was
You didn't
required.
think you would win the MPFL in your first year?
No, 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 not that we didn't think we'd win it. We planned to, and we planned to because, and this is the point that I'm going to, I wanted to make as well. When we came in, the governor's first thing was bring Rangers back to Enugu because he was convinced that, as we all were, it was really something everyone could see that playing your home games away is just not helpful to a title challenge. So we saw that that was affecting the team over the last 2 years before this government came on board. So and you saw the impact that that had almost immediately as Rangers returned to Enugu. So we want to replicate the same thing as far as the CAF Champions League is concerned. So the stadium is under comprehensive repairs as we speak. You know, um, Contractors have commenced work for about a month now. They've been working tirelessly, and we're racing against time. I must admit, and we're trying to see that we get the stadium ready for the CAF Champions League. The governor has insisted, and when the governor says something, it's policy, it's law, so
Okay.
we have to get it done. So we will do our very best to ensure that Rangers plays CAF
I don't.
at home.
All right, for want of time, we might not be able to talk about the National Sports Festival that is coming up. I think you should visit us another time, maybe prior to that event, so that we can talk extensively about the preparation. But let's hear from our fans. They would like to talk to you. Good morning to you. Yes, your name and location. All right, you're here with the Commissioner of Youth and Sport. Go ahead. Okay, thank you. Let him shed more light on that. You want to go now?
I mean, maybe my brother from Abwani could um, perhaps make some inquiry at your one or two of the schools around there. So we have 6 educational zones in Enugu, of which Abwani zone is one of them, and so we use a graduated format. One, at zonal levels, competitions are conducted. So inter-school competitions are conducted at the zonal level. So the schools in Albany and the neighboring areas that constitute the Albany zone, the neighboring local government areas that constitute the Albany educational zone, all competed across about 9 different sports. And those that won qualified moved on to state level, where they now came and competed against people, students from other zones. So we've been doing this for 3 years, and we've really solidified the process. So I think maybe if he
You should find out
he
more.
should find out
Oh, yeah.
more. He should find out more. Yeah.
All right, 0916005945. Good morning to you, Evangelist.
Good morning, Bankky. Good morning, Honorable Commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
I like you. You're a young man with a lot of energy. I am actually one of those who really complained about the financial award, the award given to the team. But later, when I heard about the land, I said, okay, if the land is true, even if the land is in a place where that is worth 10 million, it's still okay for me. But the issue now is that even when Bankky asks you, you are still not very open as to where it is. I mean, they don't have to be in the same place anyway. They don't have to be in one location. It could have been scattered in different places, but you should have been able to like tell us very much straight and open. That's one. That's two. Number three is I think that you may need to, why are calling local government sports heads. I don't know how they do it in local government, but we need to establish some sports facilities. It doesn't have to be football. It could be basketball courts. It could be lawn tennis courts. It could be table tennis. But let's establish it around the entire state so that when you go to Uzuwan, you will find a very good handball court that those who are in Uzuwan can, establish it around so that we can begin to get, these talents, reaping them and gathering them for future this thing. And I think the governor is not exploiting that name Rangers. He can use, he can use Rangers to even
Evangelist, thank you very much. It's gotten your point. Thank you. All right, let me quickly pick this before you answer to that. Good morning to you, Chooks.
Thank you.
Yes, Chooks, you don't have enough time. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioner. Let me go straight to Rangers Stadium. You talk about racing against time to meet up with what is needed so the Rangers will play here for the CAF competition. Don't you think this matter is as important as the political thing at the moment? If the government had to put a lot so that the politics be at the echelon at the moment, don't you think it's also very necessary that we don't just make it a statement that we are racing against time and eventually it fades away? Wouldn't we do more to get it up there? And then number two, this issue of always giving land and land, don't you think about how that's forms of incentive? Must it be land? When this land eventually finish, must we always give land?
Chooks, thank you very much, Chooks. Thank you, Chooks. All right, yes, quickly let's answer to that so that we can wrap up the show.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. To respond to Evangelist, first of all, thank you for your calling in. Yeah. I mean, you addressed the issue of local government areas, essentially extending the sports facilities development to the local government areas and ensuring that that sports is being developed generally. That's something that we're engaging on. It's something that we're engaging on. The smart schools, in its fullness, are expected to have some of such facilities. So they are an ongoing thing as they come into, as they come online, the smart schools. Then we'll begin to focus on establishing the sports facilities elements of them. So because, like I said, if you go to the pilot school, you will see those things there. I personally, supervise the sports construction elements of those, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be across the 260 wards, and it will be. So it's work in progress. Then and then for talent discovery, just like Evangelist said, it's something that we are mindful of and we're working towards. Then for Mr. Chooks,
for land.
Well, if Mr. Chooks has,
and the urgency for the stadium to be ready.
Okay, I'll start. I think that's even the more important thing.
Yeah.
The sense of urgency is not lost on us. We're working round the clock to ensure, at the very least, really, if they don't play the preliminaries, let me just say it that way, they will, as long as they get through those preliminaries, we'll be ready for them. You know, so we're working on it, and by God's grace, because the target is to go and is to try and win.
This to be Enyimba.
It's not to be winning, it's to try and go. It's to go
It's
and win.
missing. It's like Arsenal is missing. Thank you very much, Commissioner. We
Thank
need to let you go now
Thank
because
you very
of
much.
other programs. So
Sure.
we'll hope that we can have you, for the National Sports Festival, just
Oh,
like
yes,
I said, so that we can have more conversation, robust one concerning what to expect. Thank you very much once again for all you've done.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we have to return later tonight by 7:30 p.m. for Urban Sports and 94.5 Urban Radio. The World Cup has started. Korea won their game against Czechia Republic. 2-1. South Africa suffered like we wanted. 2-0. Before I leave the amazing sport fact, did you know that Brazil is the only nation to have appeared in every single tournament since the inaugural competition in 1930? Yes, Brazil. They won the World Cup 5 times. Right, so return later tonight by 7:30 p.m. on 94.5 Urban Radio Yagazi, and Chuma Wansamba will be here for the Parliament by 9 a.m. I am Bankky.